Welcome to another edition of Journey of Hope. Stories of people who have been impacted by the healing ministry of Loma University Medical Center. Stories of people who have undergone some type of medical procedure, experienced cancer, or some other type of medical crises. These people have gone on to be not only survivors but thrivers. Our special guest today is Dixie Watkins from Redlands, California. Dixie's been here in the area for almost 50 years. And Dixie, we've got a program that's going around the world, and we want to hear about your story and your involvement here at Loma Linda, and about this procedure that you had done recently with your eyes. But before we learn about the procedure, I'd like to share with the audience a little bit about your background, where you're from, and about your family. We got some pictures we'll look at a little bit later, but where are you from? Where were you raised?
I was born on a wheat farm in Kansas.
On a wheat farm, okay. And then after, did you go to school there in that area? Or
I did. I went to our local school all through high school.
And what part of Kansas are we talking about?
It's northwestern, not near any big town you've ever heard of.
And it's out in the edge, the northwestern part of Kansas. So did you graduate from high school then?
I did.
And then where did you go?
Went to Union College.
And what were you studying when you went away to school?
I decided when I was a freshman in high school that I wanted to be a medical technologist.
Really? Right off the...
I did.
You did? All right.
And I set about to do that.
And so what did you take when you're at Union then?
They had requirements that we had to have in order to be admitted to the Loma Linda University School of Medical Technology.
So that's what you had to have some pre-classes or something?
A lot of them, and it was just like pre-med, except I didn't have to have embryology.
Really? So then did you finish with a degree, or did you just get the pre-classes out of the way?
I graduated from Loma Linda University.
Oh, you did?
In 1962 with a degree in medical technology.
Okay. Now, I understand that you got acquainted with somebody while you were there at Union. And who was that?
My husband.
And what was he planning on doing?
He was pre-med.
Okay. So he finished pre-med there at Union, and then did both of you come to Loma Linda at the same time?
Actually, we were married before we came.
Okay.
And the School of Medical Technology then was in Los Angeles at the White Memorial. So I worked at Norton Air Force Base for 2 years as a secretary and for the Inspector General. And then when we got into Los Angeles, I finished my training.
So you finished your training there in Los Angeles, and your husband Hugh was in medical school at that point?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you graduate from the school there, the university? Where did you graduate?
Actually, they had the graduation ceremonies at the not university, but at Redlands Bowl. And they had all the schools at the same graduation ceremony. So my husband and I marched in the same graduation.
Oh my, so you graduated at the same time. Well, that's great. Well, we got some pictures here we're going to take a look at. You've been very actively involved in the area. You were actively involved in, and still are, with the Children's Hospital. You had something to do with the Ronald McDonald House. Tell me about that.
Well, when they were building the Children's Hospital, it was very much desired to have a Ronald McDonald House close by. It would help with the licensing and the accreditation of the hospital. So a group set about to see that one was built, and I was on that founding board through the building process and the fundraising, and stayed on the board until it had been finished about 5 years.
So now, were you here when they really first established the hospital then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you were here on the ground floor. You and your husband were part of those teams that ended up coming from the Los Angeles area over here, and they built the Ronald McDonald House about the same time they were building the hospital then.
Well, now this is the Children's Hospital part,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been there 15 years now.
Right.
We just had our 15th gala,
Right.
and we had our first gala the first year that the hospital was built.
And you were a part of that founding board with the Ronald McDonald House. And
Yes.
then there's been some other events going on, and we're going to take a look at some of the pictures here, and you can tell us about your family and identify when this was.
September 1, 1957.
All right, this was the wedding day, and where did this take place?
Oh, a little town, Plainville, Kansas.
All right. That was 50 years ago. And this was?
Last September.
And tell us what your husband's doing. He graduated from medical school.
He did.
And specialized in?
Dermatology.
Okay.
Took his residency at the University of Southern California, the big old county hospital.
Okay.
And practices dermatology in Riverside.
All right. And this was taken around the time of your 50th then?
Yes.
Okay. And I saw this, we took this picture off of a special book, and what was this book and what's this picture?
We took our whole family, 14 of us, to Hawaii last summer to celebrate our anniversary, and that was at a special dinner the children held for us.
Okay, well I was able to look through that book, and it's a wonderful book that the children provided us. I read the notes inside. It was very, very touching. And why? What do we got here? This must be the Watkins tribe. Tell us who we've got here, because there's a story behind each one of these. We won't be able to go into all of them, but tell us what your kids are doing.
Okay, well, this is my proudest accomplishment in my life. On the left is my #1 son, Greg, his wife, Ruthie, and son, Jeffrey, and daughter, Jennifer, and they live here. He's an interventional radiologist at the medical center.
Okay, so they've got some medical background, and it looks like it's in the genetics. All right, go ahead.
The young lady in blue is our daughter, Kara, and she's been working for ADRA for the last couple of years back on the East Coast.
Okay, and that's our worldwide organization of development agents that goes around and makes an impact on third world countries, okay?
And the next little family is my son, Barry, and his wife, Aimee, and their children, Jason and Jordan. And Barry is a hand surgeon here at the medical center, and his wife, Aimee, is OBGYN and sees patients here at the medical center 1 day a week.
My, we've got a lot of people in the medical lines here making a tremendous impact upon what's happening here at Loma Linda. All right, and the last family.
The last family is my son, Brian, #2 son, his wife, Shelley, and precious little boy, Matthew. And he's a teacher, a biology teacher in Riverside, and was just chosen Teacher of the Year at his high school.
Was he really? Well, congratulations. And what do we have here?
Well, I think this is when we started the Guild, the Big Hearts for Little Hearts Guild.
Okay, and what does the Guild do? I mean, you started the Guild. I know you're one of the founding members, and I think you were the first president. But what does the Guild do? And it's related to the Children's Hospital somehow.
It exists purely for the support of Children's Hospital. We have no other reason to be.
Okay, and what do you do?
Well, we raise money for one thing, but we do a lot more than that. We think most of all we're friend builders for the Children's Hospital in our community. It's been astounding to us how few people understand the resources that we have here in our community for children.
In terms of the people and...
Yes. In fact, I had a doctor's wife in Redlands, didn't know we had a children's hospital in Loma Linda not more than 2 or 3 years ago. So we're setting about to educate the public.
They'd lived here all this time and right next door didn't realize we had a children's hospital. So one of the roles really of the Guild is to build friends and relationships with people and bring about an awareness. What are some of the things you do?
Well, today we had our spring read for the children. And we have Guild members come and read books to the children and then give them the book.
Now these are children that are in the hospital?
In the hospital.
These are patients? Okay.
And we do a gingerbread village at Christmas time, and it's usually over 100 children make houses. And then we have arranged a wonderful display in the lobby that's up for the month of December for the children with trains and all kinds of little toy cars and trees, and it's really a beautiful display. And the children make those, and it's just a highlight for them.
So you're involving the children.
We are.
That are there, and this makes an impact upon the children, it makes an impact upon the parents.
Right.
And you've been, how long ago was the first Guild established?
We started the Guild in 1999.
Okay. And we just have one Guild? How many women do we
We
have at
actually have 2 Guilds, and today we had a meeting that we understand the ladies from Riverside are going to start a Guild.
Oh, wonderful.
So that'll be our 3rd one. We have one in the desert area, the Palm Springs area. Has grown to about 150 ladies who...
Over in the desert?
In the desert. and it's been a wonderful thing to watch that grow.
Now, and what did you have? Did you have anything to do with that? I mean,
We did.
I'm sure that you did. You're the kind of the designer of the first one, and it got established. And several of us have been watching how that thing has grown. And you got one over in the desert now, and I didn't realize you were going to have one getting started over there in Riverside. Yeah. Well, let's look at a couple more pictures here. Oh, what do we have here? Look like you're examining a teddy bear.
Well, the Children's Hospital puts on, they call it Children's Day out on the mall, and they have different clinics around, like they find out what it's like to have a cast on their finger, and they bring their teddy bears and listen to their hearts, and they have fire prevention and let them put out a fire and teach them how to eat good food, and just a lot of wonderful activities. They have the helicopter there for them to look in.
Oh, really?
And I was just helping this little girl check her teddy bear's heart.
And I see she's listening very intently there. And so does the teddy bear actually have some kind of you can hear the heart beating?
No, we just pretend.
Oh, you were
but
just
they
kind of
get a
pretending.
certificate.
Oh, do they?
Showing that their teddy bear has good health when they
Oh,
finish.
great. All right, and what do we have here?
Well, this was our first membership tea for the Guild in 1999 in September, and these were the ladies that helped form the Guild. We had to write bylaws, we had to choose a name and a logo, and choose activities that we thought people would enjoy doing, and just try to form an organization that would be appealing. And at our membership tea, we did net 75 members.
Oh, did you really?
And that was our beginning. Last year, we ended up with the year with 300 members.
300 members in this area?
This area, and our guild, the Loma Linda Guild.
My.
And it's called Big Hearts. So we say they're just a group of ladies with big hearts. But we also have some men as members now, which
Okay,
we're delighted.
I
We're
remember
going
it's
to pursue
Big Hearts for Little
Hearts.
And it's all about the children. Well, Dixie, you've and your family have been involved here at Loma Linda for, obviously for 50 years, and it's my understanding that you had some kind of a role on the board of trustees. What were you doing?
Well, I was chosen as a Board of Trustees member for LUASC and the Medical Center. I served for 5 years.
Okay, and LUASC is Loma Linda University Adventist Health Science Center. So you were on the Board of Trustees, and I think, was Hugh on the board also?
He was on the university board before that.
Okay.
But Dr. Barron said we couldn't both be on the board, so he had to move over.
Oh, he had to step aside, and you filled that role. So now you're working with the Children's Hospital Foundation. Tell us a little bit about the Children's Hospital.
We have just a state-of-the-art facility, and I just today Zari took me up, the CEO of Children's Hospital.
That's Zari Sarafian, the CEO of the...
He took me up, and we peeked at the little boy who had a heart transplant this morning. He'd been on the Berlin heart, which is an artificial heart, for a few days waiting for this heart. He's a beautiful child, and it was just so exciting to see. He was taking a nap at that time, but has a wonderful future ahead of him now. And that was just like 2 hours ago I got to do that.
Oh, my. So what a life-saving technique. Somebody gave a gift so that somebody else could have life. And this just happened in the last 24 hours, 48 hours?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Wow.
That is amazing.
It might have been Monday, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just an amazing thing. So, and we've been conducting these heart transplants for some time. In fact, they started here at Loma Linda, didn't they? And who was the one that was behind that?
Dr. Leonard Bailey, and his birthday is this week.
Is it really? So another celebration, another reason for celebrating. So you're very actively involved in the Children's Hospital Foundation Board, and we did recently had a gala. Tell us about the gala.
Well, we started a gala for Children's Hospital. It was kind of first for this area. The first year it was opened with a big circus tent in the parking lot, and we've had, I think, 15 consecutive galas. For many years they were at Drayson Center. And
that's our wellness center here.
That's right. And about 5 years ago, we decided to move out in the community and try to engage them more. And that year I became a chair of the gala committee, and our first one away was at Riverside Rain Cross.
Okay.
And
Rain Cross is
it's their convention
kind of a
center.
convention center there.
And when I became chair of the gala committee, we just started new ways of thinking involving vendors at the hospital as sponsorships, and started envisioning making lots more money. And in the last 5 years, we've gone from netting 160 to this last year we netted 800,000.
Yeah, I think it was almost a little bit over 800,000,
Yeah.
which is
It was very
absolutely
exciting.
phenomenal. And this last year, I mean, the gala recently was conducted where, right here in?
At the National Orange Show in San
And
Bernardino.
You had a full house, and I know it was just absolutely marvelous that you raised $800,000, and this is money that goes to provide, do you remember what it was for this year?
Intensive care services
Okay.
at the hospital.
And the gala and the funds that that you're providing are providing opportunities and equipment that we wouldn't have otherwise.
That's right.
And that's really the purpose of the Children's Hospital Foundation board and and all these different guilds that are coming up. Now, the rumor is that there's some plans for expanding the Children's Hospital. What are they talking about?
We are over capacity most of the time right now, and the population in this area is growing rapidly. We need a new freestanding children's hospital. And in fact, today, Zari Sarafian showed us pictures of the dream new hospital. It's very modern and very green, and it's a dream. And I know the foundation voted this morning to set our goal for $1 million for next year's gala.
Wow, $1 million. I think you're going to do it, because I've watched the time that I've been here, that thing going from 150 or 160 up to 800,000, and we're talking about $800,000 being turned over to the Children's Hospital for the particular area that the funds are designated for that year. We're talking about a lot of children that are being ministered to, and we're talking about the role that you've had for the last how many years? You've been here for 50 years. You've been involved in one area after another, but and you've been involved with the Children's Hospital since its inception, which was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, in all the 50 years you've been here, you've been bringing people to the hospital, and you've been telling people about the hospital, the Children's Hospital, or the medical center. Have you had to use the facilities during the last 50 years, apart from what recently happened?
No, I have not.
In all this time, you've been talking to people about coming to the facilities. And well, tell us what happened when you checked out some of the medical facilities and the procedures that are going on. It has something to do with these glasses here, I think. What happened?
Well, I haven't really had any illnesses. I've been very fortunate and very blessed. But unfortunately, as we age, many of us do develop cataracts. And
now, even as a Seventh-day Adventist, they develop cataracts.
Unfortunately.
And you're a fourth generation.
I am.
Okay, so when you get a little bit older, cataracts come along. And then what happens?
Well, I decided I wasn't going to do anything about it until I turned 70. I was much too young. And that happened last September, so
What happened now? You turned?
I turned 70.
No, you got to be kidding. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
So I just started checking around to see what I needed to do, and asking people if they'd had an experience with any physician. And the name Dr. Rouser kept coming up, and I knew he was a young man about the age of my son. And so I just made an appointment and went to see him without knowing him.
I mean, you knew that you had a cataract or cataracts.
Well, I did, because my brother's an ophthalmologist,
Okay.
and he'd been watching
So
that
you've
for
been
a while.
watching this over a period of months or over a few years?
Few years.
Few years. But you wanted to wait till you got to 70, because, you know, you wanted to be at least 70 to have this cataract surgery. So now, a lot of people have cataract surgery. What type of surgery did you have?
Well, I don't think the surgery was all that different from most cataract surgeries, but the lens that was implanted in my eye is a very new technology.
You mean they actually implanted a lens? Removed a cataract and then implanted a lens?
They took my lens out.
They
They
took your
shatter it and just sort of suck it out, I guess, and then
Really?
put the new one in.
So, I mean, so what happened?
Well, when I went to see Dr. Rouser, he said I was a really good candidate for a new lens that was available,
Now,
I
that's
had-
because of the condition of your eyes?
I had
or
healthy
your overall
eyes.
Your overall health? Okay.
I didn't have any eye diseases other than the cataracts. And so he told me about a new lens called Restore. And it's been available for about 2 years.
Okay.
But it had a second generation of the Restore lens, which had only been out a couple of months.
So they had one about 2 years ago that had been developed, and then a second generation just a couple of months ago.
With some improvements.
Second model, apparently. Okay. And then what's involved in the surgery?
The surgery is very simple. I probably should say first that the new lens costs more than just what
A regular.
a regular lens costs.
Okay.
But I assured my husband I was well worth that.
Okay. He agreed.
Yeah, he did. The surgery, I just had an appointment and went to the outpatient surgery center.
So you didn't have to check into a hospital or anything?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I just walked in and sat for about 5 minutes in the waiting room and went back, and then they check all your vital signs, and the anesthesiologist talks to you for a few minutes and tells you what's going to happen, and the doctor comes by and checks your eyes one more time and measures, and in a few minutes I was taken in the outpatient surgery center. I was awake, and I remember
Fully
seeing...
conscious?
Absolutely.
Were you nervous?
No, I think they give you something that
Kind
makes
of
you not
relax
care
a
very
little
much.
sedative. Okay.
Because I didn't really care what they did. But I saw beautiful colors, and I'd say, "What are you doing now?" I'm seeing bright pinks. And
During the surgery,
during the
so you're
surgery.
fully awake and conscious, and you're seeing all these different colors?
it was really beautiful. I thought it might be something like an LSD trip or something.
Really?
I don't know.
Really? And so how long did the surgery last?
Only 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
And I was put in a wheelchair to ride out to a bed, and all they really did was just check me one more time, and 10 minutes later I put on my new glasses,
Those are your new glasses?
and I walked out to my own car.
Oh, you're kidding.
I didn't even have to wear those ugly
Did anybody have to
glasses
drive
they
you
give
home or anything?
Well, yeah, because your eyes are dilated.
Yeah. But you actually walked out and didn't spend any time at the hospital, any time there in the surgery room other than just a
No.
few minutes from recovery. And I understand that you had another eye done.
3 weeks later, I did.
And now tell me what the
Same thing.
difference is between before your surgery and after your surgery.
Well, when I went in the next day to have my eyes checked, my vision on the first eye was 2015, and the second eye was 2020 in one day.
All in one day. And what are they now?
That's what they are.
That's what they are right now. Oh, that is phenomenal. So, I mean, did you have glasses before and now you're not needing the
You
glasses?
know, I never wore glasses very well.
Okay.
I wasn't a good glasses wearer, but
Now,
I did
you
have...
mean you didn't like the way you looked with the glasses, or you
No.
didn't like them, or they didn't help, or what?
I just didn't do very well with them.
Okay.
The looks wasn't that important. But I had prescription glasses for driving.
Okay.
But now I went to Mozart's, a wonderful little store, and bought some pretty glasses to wear home.
And not prescription.
No.
You don't need
that
prescription
anymore.
glasses anymore. My, and how long had you been wearing glasses before? I mean, had you needed prescription?
Well, my brother always told me everybody over 40 could see better with glasses.
So you'd had them for...
So I had them for distance.
Yeah.
I never did have really reading glasses much. The last maybe 3 or 4 years, I had dime store glasses for phone books and things
Yeah.
like that.
Well, there's a lot of people that are watching the program that, and many of them have problems with cataracts. What would you tell them? I mean, you know, some people are frightened of going in and having their eyes worked on, a very delicate area, and, you know, things can go wrong. I mean, what would you tell the people?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
It was just so wonderful. There are rarely side effects, and if something does go wrong, they can fix it. Most of the time. I mean, if the lens isn't right, you can do it. I shouldn't ever have to have another lens, though. These should
Really?
last the rest of my
It's
life.
supposed to be a lifetime? My, that is absolutely wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you were able to participate in what we have been offering and what you've been telling other people about the wonderful services here at Loma Linda. And did you find that people were friendly and helpful, and
I did.
just the way you've been sharing about the message here from the last 50 years that you've been here, and your family's made a tremendous contribution to Loma Linda, to the university, to the medical center, and making an impact upon patients that are coming from all around and across the country, really, to come in here to Loma Linda. And the work that you're doing with the Children's Hospital and the Guild is making an impact upon countless little lives. And those little lives become citizens of the future. And we just really want to thank you. We want to thank you for being a part of our program here. I want to thank you in behalf of Loma Linda University and the Medical Center for all of the work that you're doing. And there's a tremendous healing ministry going on day by day. As we're sitting here and as we're going through the interview right now, there's the whole circle of life that's taking place over there at Loma Linda University. People are being born and other people are struggling with end-of-life issues. And Loma Linda is making a difference. And people like you are helping Loma Linda conduct its healing ministry. Again, I want to thank you for being a part of our program here and for all the work that you're doing. And for our listening audience, we want to thank you for joining us here on Loma Linda University Medical Center and the Journey of Hope. Loma Linda University is one of 125 teaching hospitals and making an impact in so many different areas. And there are people in our listening audience right now that are confronted with some kind of a crisis or a traumatic injury that you've just experienced. We want you to know that God has a plan for you and for your life. And if you're in the Loma Linda area, Loma Linda is here serving people. The motto is to make man whole, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And we want to thank you for joining us here on Journey of Hope, and we want to invite you to continue to be lifting us up in prayer, and the Medical Center in prayer, and particularly LLBN. Thank you so much for joining us, and may God bless you, and thank you, Dixie.
You're welcome.
I think we are now through. You did it.